Yes, just give me 1 minute. Okay, so I have put it on recording. So let me share my screen and start it. Yes, so I hope my screen is visible. Okay, so good evening, all of you. Good evening, friends. And I welcome you all to today's session. And this session is very, very special because, so like last session, we have covered competency-based education and how competency-based education is closely linked with National Education Policy 2020. Okay, and we the educators are the most flexible. I mean, we really adopt lots of flexibility in our profession. So like since last 2 years, yeah, more than that, so we adopt many changes from offline to online, then hybrid, then again coming back to offline, and we know the students really they have lots of learning gap, and also like coping up with all these things. So I mean, hats off to all of us. Yeah. So here we really, by adopting such flexibility, we really have proved that we are talented people, and we are, I mean, we are fond of our profession, means we are in love with our profession, and more importantly, we are, I mean, very, very special people in our student life. So today's session is on regarding lesson plan, and lesson plan, though it is not very new to any of you, okay, because all the educators after clearing B.Ed, M.Ed, they enter into this profession. So lesson plan is one of the integral parts of, I mean, whatever course we do. Okay, and as we know, uh, planning to, sorry, failing to plan means planning to fail. So even though many times now we may not prepare any lesson plan, but we keep something, some plan in our mind before we enter into the class. And sometimes the school demands the lesson plan to be submitted, then also we show that in written form. Otherwise, I mean, whether mentally or like written form, we plan something. Okay, now here through so now like lesson plan, though I mean, just now I said it's not new for any of us. Okay, so like what is learning objective, then I mean special objective, general objective, and everything we know. Okay, now the term with NEP 2020, so little bit modification. It's not very drastically modification, not so, little bit shift from traditional one to the new one. So as I said, like we have been like undergoing lots of changes in past 2-3 years. Now NEP 2020 will be bringing a bit change. So we will be discussing on that. So we will be discussing how, I mean, a bit introduction, not much, and key features of NEP 2020 again in brief, and then we can go for sample lesson plan. Okay, so here I've taken this from CBSE site. The National Education Policy 2020 calls for a shift from an assessment system that is a summative and primarily test rote memorization skills to one that is more regular and formative. It's more competency based. It promotes learning development for our students and test higher order skills such as analysis, critical thinking, and conceptual clarity. So whatever we test, we have to teach that in the class. Okay. Suppose something we are not teaching, we cannot take such assessment also. So whenever we test higher order skills, so our teaching methodology should be according to that. So basically, the students should be familiar with what they, the purpose, the objective of the any assessment. And so key principles. So though NEP talks about lot of things, so become my focus for today's listening lesson plan. So I have taken only few points. So key principles of NEP emphasizes conceptual understanding rather than rote learning and learning for exams. Because now, like all of you may be agreeing, so whatever the student may score 90%. Okay, so but after a few days, if you ask something on that subject, on that topic, he or she may not be able to answer that. Okay, so it means learning for exams and getting a set of questions. Then, whatever the student is learning, then he or she can write there and he or she can score well. Okay, so but we want long term. Whatever the student is learning, studying, so it should be a lifelong learning experience. Unique capabilities, recognizing, identifying them in each student. The student may not be very good in mathematics, but if the student is very good in any other subject, any other, you can say, curricular activities, so that should be identified and recognized. Critical thinking and creativity to encourage logical decision making and innovations. Okay, so how to enable our students to inculcate these habits: critical thinking and creativity and logical decision making. Okay, so then continuous review based on sustained research and regular assessment by educational experts. So CBS is coming up with lots of good things like competency based education, then shuffle, and time to time other things are also coming up. So basically regular assessment by educational experts. So this again I just have taken from NEP. Yeah, so here focus on learning outcomes, competency and subject integration. Okay, learning outcomes as per NCERT. So I have shared that document in the WhatsApp group. Okay, from class 1 to 10. So learning outcomes for each subject. Okay, so that I have shared today. And competencies. So what competencies we want to test? Okay, our lesson plan might not, one lesson plan or one class or one topic may not test all the competencies, but one or two competencies can surely be inculcated. Okay, and subject integration. So how, like, each subject, they are very interrelation between them. If you are teaching mathematics, and how it is closely linked with geography or linked with physics, chemistry. Okay, and if somebody is teaching social science, how mathematics can be linked, statistics can be linked. So subject integration. And you can take art integration is one more example also. Here competency based education. Okay, modules on preparing and implementing pedagogical plans based on competency and outcome based education for school leaders, and integration of subjects through arts, through art integration, sports integration, ICT integration, storytelling based pedagogy, among others, as standard pedagogy. Development of scientific temper. So here, development of scientific temper and inculcation of knowledge and practice of human and constitutional values, such as patriotism, sacrifice, non-violence, truth, honesty, peace, etc. So these are basically these temperaments we need to develop in our students' mind, in, of course, in the school. And here no hard separation between curricular and co-curricular, extracurricular activities, academic, vocational, science, humanities, sports, arts, academics. And if you have seen that NEP 2020, the whole thing, no, there is actual no stream. Okay, the student can study physics with history. Okay, and now in most of the schools, no, we do not have that provision. Okay, but now NEP, even if a commerce student can go for, I mean, basically as per student's interest, he or she can take up the subjects. So there is no separate compartment as science, commerce, humanities, yeah, topic, I mean, subject wise division. So here no hard separation between the subjects or streams. Emphasis on digital literacy. So emphasis on digital literacy means coding is another way to come up, and computational thinking, ethical and moral reasoning. And finally, promotion of multilingual teaching. And yeah, so basically these are some of the, you can say, focus for NEP. And competency based education, most of the time we talk about competency based education. So what is it? So competency, basically knowledge, attitude and skill. It means whenever we teach the students, the basic purpose of education is all-round development. Okay, and we can say all-round development means, like you can say, head, hand and heart. Head, heart and hand. Head means knowledge aspect, cognitive domain, and here while making any assessment, we take Bloom's taxonomy into account. And attitude means again like feeling aspect, heart. Okay, so what is the moral values, what is the, you can say, all the scientific temperament, all these things. And skills means psychomotor domain. Okay, and these three domains means if the student can develop these three domains, so it is basically all-round development, and that is the purpose of education. So this is not very new concept actually. In fact, Mahatma Gandhi, he had, I mean, as per Mahatma Gandhi, like education is modification of behavior and all-round development. So that time like head, heart and hand. But now we are little bit shift in as per time and as per environment. We are giving a little bit new name for this. So these three, I mean, three competencies, it should be observable, measurable, and yeah, so learning outcomes. Okay, so yeah, so basically transferring the knowledge, transfer of knowledge in real life situation. It should not be like rote learning, but whatever the child is learning, it should be implemented in real life situations. And whenever we design the lesson plan, so what should be our goal? So as I said, like it may not be like every time we may not write before we go to the class, but we certainly plan something. We do not enter the class randomly. Okay, so it is because, yeah, so because whether we write it or not, the planning is always there. So lesson plan to be designed on the basis of SMART, means specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time bound. Okay, so these are the SMART goals. So it should be specific. Suppose we are teaching any topic, whichever subject it may be. So every topic, every subtopic has specific goals. It should be measurable, then attainable, realistic, time bound. So when we say SMART goals, it should be age, learner, content appropriate. Okay, so and it should accommodate differentiated learners. Okay, so this is basically specific, I mean, focus for, I mean, NEP 2020. So because in a class of 30 or 40 students, so all the students are not equal, I mean, they do not have equal capacity, they do not learn in same pace. But we usually, what we do in our normal classroom, we take them, I mean, one thing fitted for everyone. Okay, whatever it is. So now here it is saying accommodate differentiated learner. There may be some slow learners, what to do for them. There may be, gifted children, what to do for them. So, our lesson plan should plan to accommodate all these categories. Okay, so now I'll show you lesson plan template. So just let me. Okay, so I have taken this from, okay, so it is one of the sample lesson plan template taken from HyperDocs, what I have edited it. Is it visible to all of you? Just one moment. Okay, so whenever we design any lesson plan, so though I will show you that format also. So 5E lesson plan. So which is an effort engage, though we have been doing, as I said, all of us are familiar, but little bit shift in the term. Even competency-based education was not new. Okay, but now we are saying is competency-based. And from the beginning, it was there. Like Bloom's taxonomy, it was 1956. Okay, so basically every new thing, but we are just shifting, our goal a little bit as per time, requirement of time, and circumstances. So engage. So what does this phase do? So engage basically, like all of us are familiar with, whenever we teach any topic, we take previous knowledge check. Okay, so we link previous knowledge to the topic we want to introduce. So here engage phase checks basically previous knowledge. To engage the students in the beginning of a lesson, we may ask few questions to get answers from students, which may lead the path towards connecting with the lesson we want to introduce. And I'm just covering a little bit online and offline, both the things. Okay, so whatever is required, you can pick that from this session. So whenever we take online classes, if it is online teaching, or like the schools having like smart classes, so they have the provision of showing some videos, images, codes, and then like asking a few questions, then introduction of the topic can be done. And in case of offline classes also, we can directly talk to the students, then we can ask few questions, and we can take some examples from real life situations. So then it can be, it can help us to introduce new topic. Explore is basically this. So here explore means basically from the this phase, students can participate based on their shared experience to actively manipulate some materials. So, and this is based on for online classes, and in offline also, whenever we conduct some activities. But now our students are very familiar with digital world. So suppose we are teaching any topic, then to explore more about that, to a little bit explore, suppose for example, I can take example of mathematics maybe. So if we are teaching polynomial, okay, so we are introducing maybe polynomial, they have polynomial maybe middle classes, so they have some idea of polynomial from junior classes. So then little bit addition we have to do here. So regarding polynomials, asking some questions, then we can take some activities. So maybe like some designs, and taking some examples, some test lessons. So basically from their experience they can explore it. And this activity, what I feel, we can give it even after the lesson also, because if online things are not available during the normal regular classroom setting, it's not possible to student to explore many things during 35 minutes period. So maybe before or after, if we are planning to teach some lesson, and we can send some document or some videos, or infographics to the students, they can explore before coming to the class, or after the class also we have taught any lesson, then to know more about that, no, they can, we can encourage them. This explore stage. Explain. So explain basically, so whenever we have taken the previous knowledge, check, okay, engaged, then explore, as I said, before or after the lesson you can do. Then explain is basically, it is a direct instruction by teacher. Okay, whenever we teach new concept, we need to teach them, and it is teacher directed. Yeah, and we can explain any whatever topic we are teaching, skills, concept, or process. Okay, so basic, and also teaching method depends upon the subject and topic we teach. So the method of teaching language obviously different from method of teaching mathematics or science. Okay, so explain is basically, this is the teacher directed things, and elaborate is another good stage, you can say. So the purpose of for the elaborate stage is to allow students to use their new knowledge, continue to explore its implications. Okay, so once we have taught any topic, suppose we have taught polynomial, we have taught fraction, or we have taught respiratory system. Okay, so now in the elaborate stage, what they can do, this stage, the purpose of this stage is to allow students to use their new knowledge and continue to explore its implications. So in mathematics class, maybe giving some questions. So whatever we have taught them, suppose we are teaching addition of fraction, okay, yeah, finding angle or sides of polygons. So then we can give them some questions. Then we feel, okay, if most of the students, yeah, all of them are able to do it, so we can have fair idea whatever we have taught, it's quite effective, all my students have understood. Okay, and similarly in language, literature, or science, so similar things you can do. So students practice skill and extend thinking. The elaborate activity is an opportunity to develop a deeper level of understanding about the topic, skill, concept, or process. In this section, teacher can discuss with the students regarding application of the topic in other fields and real life situations. Okay, so once we have taught something, then we can say how can it be useful to us. Okay, suppose I take class 11th and 12th. Suppose I'm teaching trigonometry. Okay, and in trigonometry, I'm teaching them periodicity of functions and how repetition happens. Okay, now if I link, and most of the time now students, they feel, okay, trigonometry is something to solve the questions, remember formula, then solve the questions. But if we can really tell them, it's not only for, this thing, why are we studying the topic? So every walk of your life, which are breathing cycle, that is also linked with trigger functions. If somebody is fond of music, again musical notes, that is also dependent on trigonometry. So if we can give them that idea, and apart from architecture and survey works and measuring height, distance, everything, so if we can do like that, so we can elaborate this stage, how this elaborate stage helps linking mathematics with physics, mathematics with geography, okay, geography with statistics, okay, and so on. And as I said, it may be like there are various ways of taking this stage. So if you are just teaching addition, subtraction, or fractions, maybe some guided practice or independent practice can help to know the students have learned and the desired learning outcomes have been achieved. And language, literature, maybe again similarly you can give some assessment. It may be dependent practice or independent practice. And finally evaluate, because everything depends. So how to reflect whatever we are teaching in the class, the students are able to follow, yeah, the goal is actually achieved. Here you can reflect and evaluate next steps for instruction based on students' performance. So in elaborate, we have seen what the students are performing. Whenever we are discussing about something, how we can apply whatever knowledge they gain from the topic polynomial, or from the topic respiratory system, yeah, anything from geography, how they can apply in the other subjects, yeah, in real life situation. So here, based on their response, so we can reflect and evaluate next step for instruction based on student performance. Teachers assess for understanding of key concepts. Students assess their abilities and set new goals. Use the data to guide the next cycle of inquiry to teach and meet the individual needs of the students, because NEP focuses on differentiated learning. Okay, so how the students of, I mean, different abilities can be accommodated, and it's not, you can say, it's not like, okay, we taught something, and right now what we are doing, so we are taking exams whether the students are ready or not. But what NEP is talking about, so like it is self-paced. Okay, if just, it's not like we have to whether the student has, I mean, learned or not, so we take exams. But here, like, it is like, the student can take his own time, I mean, because every student is not of same abilities. So the purpose of evaluation stage is for both students and teachers to determine how much learning and understanding has taken place. So it is not only for teachers but students also. Okay, so we the desired learning outcomes have been achieved or not. So this is the template for 5E lesson plan, and you can get it from HyperDocs. Okay, and just I've edited a bit here, all the stages as per our requirement. Okay, now I'm showing you the lesson plan. Just a moment. Okay, so the basic lesson plan format. Yeah, so here. Okay, so this is the regular lesson plan whenever we submit in the school, class and section, subject. I've written mathematics, you can write your subject. And the lesson plan, maybe some schools, they I mean, they ask for weekly lesson plan, some schools monthly lesson plan, and like some teachers may make like topic wise lesson plan. So it depends upon, I mean, case to case. And of course, like class, section, subject, you can write month, week, day, whatever is your, I mean, need, you can write your name, of course, then chapter, topic, subtopic. Okay, so depending upon your requirement, you can take it. And if it is topic wise, number of periods, because yeah, we can go for indefinite period of time. So for any specific topic, we are given some number of periods allotted, and date of commencement, expected date of completion. Okay, if it is topic wise. And if it is weekly or monthly, then you can see. Then here resources required. Earlier we were writing materials required. So here now materials can be replaced with resources. So resources required, of course, textbook, reference book, whatever you want to write. If you are starting your this thing to a worksheet, because sometimes like even previous knowledge check, you can use worksheets also. Okay, like if it is online, or you are showing in a smart board, I mean class, so then that in that case, maybe this will help, showing some video or taking some quizzes, online quizzes, that can help. But now most of the schools know we are working offline, and in India, of course, we are not very much like, we do not allow our students to carry their Chromebook or laptop in the class, even mobile also. So in that case, worksheet will be fine. We can, I mean, take a small quiz to just test previous knowledge. Or if at the end also you want to just evaluate their learning, worksheet can help. So worksheet, whatever you need, then software, if any, okay, if you are using. So as I said, I am covering online and offline both. And if we want to give some YouTube channel, some good channel, I mean, like if it is your own video, or it may be like Khan Academy. So any relevant video you want to share, so then that can be done. Sorry. So resources required like this. Okay. And again, software. Yeah, so here again, like many schools, they use GeoGebra. And if in case you are using GeoGebra or any other software, that can be referred to. Learning objective. Sorry, this is LOB. Okay, so okay, so learning objective, basically general objective. By studying that chapter, what the student is going to learn. Sorry. Suppose, for example, in mathematics, general objective maybe students can develop like logical ability, analytical ability, creativity, thinking. Similarly, you can just, this is even we used to use this in our old lesson plans. Specific objective is that topic specific. By learning trigonometry, by learning polynomial, yeah, I mean what the child is going to learn. Okay. And learning outcome is very, very specific, and the learning outcome is basically, it is given by NCERT, and I have shared this learning outcome for class wise in today's that WhatsApp group. You can check it. So, and also CBSE site gives learning outcomes class wise. So learning outcomes are as per NCERT manual, which are as per Bloom's taxonomy. Okay. So learning and I mean understanding everything, all 5-6 stages. So this learning outcomes we are already given, so we don't have to think. So we have to plan our lesson as per the learning outcomes. So like students will be able to do what. So, and you can take just directly, you can take it from there. And this is very, very important, because lesson plan as per NEP 2020, it is going to be competency based. What sort of competency we want to test. So key competencies like collaboration, communication, creativity, emotional development, social responsibility. So these are maybe some of the key competencies we want to inculcate in our students' teaching and learning process. So here, and as a few minutes back I said, it may not be possible to include all the competencies in one lesson. Suppose you are teaching polynomial, suppose you are teaching respiratory system, digestive system, yeah, you are teaching vectors, so then it may not be possible to include all the competencies in that one lesson. But at least one or two competencies can be included in every lesson. Okay, so that our lesson plan to be designed like that. And so like for example, one geometric progression. Okay, so in geometric progression, those who are maths people, they may understand this. So in geometric progression, like every time, it is, increasing, like suppose for example, 1, okay, 1, then 4, then 4 times like this. So it means the student can learn from here, like savings. Yeah, if somebody is, suppose job offers, for example, the person is not able to decide. So one, job may be giving him immediate salary, good package, and other job offer may, offering that person, some amount, but it is the increment like this. So if the, person has good knowledge of that geometric progression, so then he or she can decide which one is better for that person, in the long run. Okay, so that one person, just giving some example, even for taking the loan and deciding some savings scheme, so all these can help. And similarly in other subjects also we can think of. And yeah, so what competency we want to include in that particular lesson plan or particular lesson. Okay, and these are, yeah, okay, so this some of these things. And previous knowledge check, so whether you take 5B lesson, 5B model lesson plan, so or a normal lesson plan also, like introduction or previous knowledge check, we are including this in engage part. Okay, and yeah, so here 5B lesson plan, just now I have shown the template. I will show one of my sample lesson plan also. Engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate. Okay, then at the end of the lesson, once we have taught, then closure or conclusion or recap. So that also we used to, include in our traditional lesson plan. Okay, recap. Okay, what the students have learned. Okay, and assessment like classwork, or I can say guided practice, or maybe independent classwork. And independent practice can be like home assignment. Okay, so it may be exercise question or related questions or some hands-on activities. Okay, and after every lesson now we must reflect what went well, what could be, how could I do it better. Okay, and any chance of improvement. So if we ask these three questions, okay, so what went well, so again it is appreciation for self. And of course whatever we do, always we can do better than best. So how better I could do it means scope of improvement. Okay, and then what else to be included? If you see the class is very vibrant, very dynamic, okay, and you may say hyperactive, so then you can decide accordingly how to really, the students can be engaged. Okay, if the class is a bit slow, then again you can plan. So your lesson plan can reflect it accordingly. Okay, I will show one of my lesson plan I have prepared. Just a moment. Okay, so this is also one of my lesson plan, 5E model lesson plan. And yeah, so I have made it like both online, offline, or even if it is offline class, I can share with my students so that they can use it, because they can write over here. Okay, so I've taken the topic 3D geometry for class 12th, and subtopic is line in space. Okay, now engage, what I have done here, maybe I can ask some questions, because before coming to this topic, they have studied vectors. Okay, because without teaching vector, one cannot teach this topic. So then what is the condition for two vectors to be perpendicular? So if I ask this question, so maybe I may get some response from the class, some students may respond and some students may not. Okay, then here, quick recap. So I have taken this one, like very simple questions, just to recall whatever I require. So it is in case of online class, and if it is offline, as I said, maybe a simple worksheet, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes type of things, or maybe few questions I can write on the board. So then students, I can, few questions I can ask, like just like that also, so that I can get some response. Okay, then that is engage a previous knowledge check. And if I'm sharing this thing with them, then they can answer this Google form. Okay, so but in physical classes, not possible, so I can find in this way. So explore means what are the various applications of 3D geometry in everyday life. So that is my question for them. And I have given some article to them. Okay, so again, it is some website link. They can go through this, so they can know or explore more about this. Okay, and this can be given as in physical classes, not possible. So then what I can do, as I said, I am sharing this with the students so that they can go later on, or I can send them, share them through Google Classroom, so that they can, explore new things. Okay, third one is explain. So this is teacher directed. So then again, in case of, so I have taken one presentation here. Okay, equation of line in space or something here. Okay, then here, so presentation, it will help them to study like this. So it's basically a PowerPoint presentation. So I can use this to teach the students to, so that I can do it. Okay, so whatever I want to teach, line in space, and otherwise I can teach normal way also, whenever, the it's not possible to, use smart board, or it's not possible to teach them online and purely physical classes. So just like the way we teach normal class, so this is because we know the student have fair idea about vectors. They know when the vectors are perpendicular, parallel, so basic things they know. Then we can start the class in this way and elaborate. So again here, it is basically detailed discussion. Okay, let us have a detailed perspective of 3D geometry and its various applications in other fields. Okay, so again, if I share this with the students, so they are getting so many materials here, and they also watching the video also. So I think this video is here. So I have shared okay, so this is one of my videos I can share with them, so that later on they can see it. Okay, so otherwise, elaborate, we can discuss. We can have clear discussion. We can ask like 3D geometry, maybe if somebody is a player, sports person, so how, like, what is their observation, and how, like, if we can relate with some 3D movie, we can various discussion basically. So elaborate stage gives an opportunity uh, for teacher and students to discuss in the class, to link that topic with other topics, and finally evaluate. So whatever I taught in that one period, 2 periods, so whether my students have learned properly or not. So like here, again, in case of online teaching, online classes, or if any school having provision of students using a Chromebook, or you can say, any sort of laptop or tablet. So then that they can give some tablet or quiz or other device, other software they can use. Otherwise, in normal classroom, what we can take small quiz and check the learning outcomes. Okay, so this stage includes guided and independent practice, and so reflect the learning outcomes. So in case we do not get desired learning outcomes, we may reflect, what should I do? What I should have done in a better way. What simplified way. Or if the students have no much clarity, they do not have much clarity on vectors. So maybe going back and teaching them vector product. So remedial measures can be taken. So these are the, sample lesson plan, though I have some other things, but basically you can modify accordingly. Okay, so because as I said, online, offline, hybrid, so we are very, very, you can say, experts in everything. So we can modify these things a bit. Okay, so so basically this thing. So any question or anything you want to ask, please feel free. You can unmute yourself and ask. And in the meantime, I'll share the feedback form also. Yeah. Okay, so okay, I can share the PDF noise. Okay, so I shared the feedback form. Okay, so I will be sharing this in WhatsApp group. Okay, so any question, please unmute yourself and ask. So if you want, I can share this 5E format and this sample one also. In fact, CBSE has given, just let me share with you also. In CBSE's some sample lesson plan, it's for mathematics I have taken. Just let me share that also. Uh, Teacher resource, I think. Okay, so learning outcomes I have sent. Yes, yes. Okay, so yeah, we need to follow because national syllabus given by NCRT. Okay, so but again we have to see, like here as we feel learning gap almost. I mean, lots of learning gap already created. So even if the deleted portion, so what we do specifically, what I do, I think if it is required in the next class, I cover it up. Okay, because I know when somebody's not, I mean, some topics they have not done in 10th standard, so I have to teach in 11th standard. So now again, I do not want such gap to be created for them in the next year also. So this is my idea of taking the classes. I think in all the classes, no, we have to see that. Any other question, please unmute yourself and ask. Just stop sharing. Yes, yeah, I can. So if you are part of WhatsApp group, no, so I have shared some materials today also, and this one I can share. Thank you, thank you. Yes, yes, I'll do. So thank you everyone. Thank you for joining. Today I was not well and I thought let me not take this. Okay, then finally I thought no, let me not waste time also.